All right, welcome back to Keeping It Real. We are here with Lance Lotzenheiser of Cabin Creek Bait Company and Bradley Roy, some guy we just found on the street.
We did.
No, Bradley Roy of the Bass Masters Elite Series, 7th in the Classic as a rookie, killing it on the tour, and an all-around good guy, I'd have to say. And today we are talking about the Express Craw, and I am very excited about this because I watch everything you do. I watch the Facebook videos, I watch the posts, I love them. And then when you were talking to the fish, I mean, it's just great. And if I understand correctly, this was it. This was the bait that you tipped on a DL jig.
Yeah, DNL tackle jig.
DNL tackle jig in the Bassmasters Classic to come in seventh.
I did. I caught a lot of fish with a football head jig, a 3/4 ounce jig, and I was using this bait as a trailer on the back, which, you know, Lance can tell you a lot more about this bait, but what's cool about this bait is it's versatile in the sense that you can fish it by itself Texas rigged, or I like to put it on the back of a jig. And I'll tell you a cool story about this as well. Pre-practice for the Classic, I caught the biggest fish of my life, biggest bass of my life ever, a 12-pounder. I caught it on that right there. And so it really worked well pre-practice. I went back for the tournament and continued to catch them on that bait. So to say that I like that bait and have a lot of confidence in it is an understatement. And it really works well in a lot of situations.
Now, you're going to tell us all about this bait, but I got to ask you a question. Because as you know, I am new to the angler world. I am learning. Caught a 22-inch trout. I know this is a bass show, but I caught a 22-inch trout the other day, which was pretty awesome. But you go on, because you're sponsored, I want to ask you a question. You go on these shows or you go on to Facebook and you actually tell folks what you caught these. Your competitors are watching. They're listening. They probably have this in fact, I know they have this in their box, but because we don't have the name on the shoulder, they don't tell it. Correct. Okay? How hard is it for you to come out and say, this is what I caught it on, this is what I got 7th in the Classic on it? That's got to be difficult.
You know, it's not for me because I try to wait till the end, you know, because if I wait till the end, then maybe they'll go buy some afterwards and then it'll all matter. But, you know, you're right. We do, as pro anglers, have to tell, but I'm proud to do that, you know, because I want people to get this bait in their hands because it's going to work for them. I may just not always tell the truth on what color I caught it on until after the tournament. You know,
so colors, there you go.
The truth will come out.
All right, Lance, I see that we've got 2 sizes here. Give me a little bit of info about the craw. What are we looking at? How's this made, etc.?
Great plastic, injection molded, obviously. That craw that you're holding there is 3.75 inches. We just came out with another one that I'm really excited about, and that's a junior craw. It's 2.75 inches. I absolutely love that bait.
Now let me ask you a question, because I know that when I was at ICAST and when we were in the booth, people were absolutely floored that when you dropped this in the water, this thing stood straight up, pinchers at the ready. How is that even physically possible? How does that work?
Oh, we can't tell everything here.
All right, so it's a Cabin Creek secret. So what's amazing about this bait, you don't have to be a Bassmasters Elite Series 7th on the Classic as a rookie to understand how important it is that a bait can go into the water and replicate a craw to the point where it's standing up almost as if it's pinching in an attack mode, and the bass, they're gonna go crazy for that, right? Bradley, so as a new angler just getting started, should I favor the bigger craw, the smaller craw? How should I rig it? How should I fish this if I'm going to put this in my box?
You know, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you're on
I'm looking to catch fish.
Well, if you're catching around a smallmouth type fishery, I would start with our junior size. You know, because smallmouth like to have smaller mouths, obviously, and they like to feed on something a little smaller. But for your largemouth purpose, I'm going to stay with our regular size. You know, I love this bait because I think it's the perfect size you can still catch a big fish on it, but it's small enough to get those bites. And if you've ever been around any creeks or lakes and you've dug around and found any crawfish, what size are most of them?
They're about that size.
They're about that size. So we're trying to replicate that, you know, and bass love crawfish. Probably 75% of a bass's diet's made up of shad and other baits, but this is candy to them. That's why bass fishermen for so long have always thrown jigs and things that replicated crawfish, and that's what you're doing with this. If you can get that around, it's a high protein diet for bass. They love it. You get that in front of him, he's gonna eat it.
All right, so there you have it. This is the Express Craw, both the regular size and the junior from Cabin Creek Bait Company. I don't feel like I need to relay what he said or how to fish this because I'm very familiar with this bait. I would Texas rig this. I would drop it to the bottom, maybe off some rock. I don't know if that's the right terminology. I'd throw it at some rock, let it drop in. Okay. The pinchers stand up. I mean, I catch fish on this, and if I can catch fish on this, anybody can catch fish on this. So again, the Express Craw from Cabin Creek, both the regular and the junior size. You can get this anywhere you buy your baits.